Hey folks, Eric here, Gold Investment Letter. It is Friday. We're closing out the week um, on the 9th here, 3 hours until market close. I wanted to just give all of our subscribers a quick recap of a couple of important plays that we're in and thoughts on the general market for gold and our mining stocks. Also, I just want to put it out there. There's a few. I'm going to make this like a flashpoint type of an update. So hopefully a lot of you watch it or listen to it just to get the bullets. Number one, we've got a scenario where gold being in the 3,300 area, typically in a case like this, there's no reason to expect that silver will not play a very, very aggressive game of catch up. The gold silver ratio is extremely out of whack in favor of buying silver over gold. The issue with storing silver physically, you buy a 500-ounce monster box, it's 42 pounds. It's 42 pounds to carry around, and it's worth less than 20 grand. Versus obviously, you could buy the same amount for basically 5 or 6 ounces of gold, which is easier to store. Now, in this case, what you can do, I think, for size is you can literally make sure you have some solid vehicles, even SLV, where you have digital exposure to the price of silver is wise. Some of the larger producers that are going to see major improvements in their bottom line numbers right away out of the gate is also a good idea. First Majestic comes to mind as my biggest position in terms of the silver production companies. AG is the symbol in the US. It's trading amazingly. I mean, this thing is trading under $6 US, and I just think it's a steal. These producers and developers, except for the developers on the gold side, we started to see a heartbeat from, excuse me, companies like Nova Gold, because some of the transactions going on with Paulson Group and buying out Barrick in the Donlin asset this last week or late last week. But we've seen action in the development companies, which mean when they're development sized companies, they've had tons of work done. They've had a deposit that's been proven out, further advanced studies, PEA, pre-fees, feasibility, and then you go to a final study and you're going to build a mine or not. And so some of these deposits that are, I would call them the development leverageable plays, have huge deposits. Like you look at International Tower Hill, it's over 20 million ounces of gold. And this deal, quite frankly, where you can still buy, and I'm just going to give you an accurate number with today's price of the stock is, it's 84 cents US. We saw a bit of a move this week, but you're still talking about, 850, $8.50 an ounce in the ground of gold that you can buy. It's trading at 3,300. So also, when you start to look, and I was talking with a newer investor to the Gold Investment Letter, but you've been an investor in THM for quite a while, very knowledgeable about these stories. And he had done some work on, and I have two, I just have it buried. But when we look at the NPV acceleration, which I believe in International Tower Hills, um, don't quote me on this, but in International Tower Hills PowerPoint, they only go up to a net present value at 5% with $2,500 gold. When you get to $3,500 gold, I believe that NPV, so we're right there, is over $14 billion US, trading at $175 million market cap. I mean, trading at 10% of NPV would take this thing up eightfold, which would be, I think, suitable, minimally. So there's a ton of upside left on International Tower Hill. I just wanted to highlight that because I laid off discussions about it the last couple of days, hoping it would digest, which it is doing so nicely because we just broke out of a 52-week high. But also a reminder, I've told my premium and elite members for months, buy. We started out with a buy up to 65 cents USD because it was trading at about 45 cents. Then I recently raised that to 85 cents USD. and we saw a lot of buying before I really pronounced this pick to our larger readership list. But it doesn't matter. There's so much upside. And for our broad community, if you don't own any size or have any international tower hill, THM in the US is the more liquid vehicle. And then you have ITH on the Toronto Stock Exchange as well. I have $1.05, okay? $1.05 as the buy up to USD. That's fine for long-term investors. If you're willing to hold for 1 to 2.5 years, something like that, that is a strong buy. So we could double, or we could go up 20% from here, and I still think that Tower Hill is a very strong buy for everybody. That's how cheap I think it is. But for today, if any of you get this and you want to top off for Monday morning, I would say, you know, keep it under 90-ish USD, because we've got, we've got probably some stock to buy here in the next few days where there's more of a consolidation and there's not a lot of big spotlight on the stock. So that would mean 1.25, I believe, up to 125 Canadian on ITH. So up to 125 on ITH, up to 90 on THM. This is a core position for me. Now second in line in terms of size in my portfolio to Phenom Resources, PHNM, in the Toronto Junior Exchange, PHNMF in the US, which is trading at 25 cents. This deal, for those of you that are newer, this is like if you were to say, are you behind any one particular deal until you go to the grave or it hits? This is the one for me, because um, I just believe that we've got some really special assets in this deal, both on the gold exploration side in Nevada, for just top deals. Um, Vetted by Dave Matheson. Any of you who've been around the gold market know that he's the real deal. These are special projects that I've encouraged those guys to vend into this project to eventually spin this into two companies, Phenom Gold and Phenom Vanadium. The vanadium story has been dormant for a while, but I am absolutely convinced it will come alive. And when it does, Phenom will be the most exciting story in the vanadium space globally. Unless somebody is just going to buy a producer like Largo, anything next to that, it's Phenom. So I believe the stock bottomed recently on a small financing, but that financing is going to last them a bit. They're actually drilling next week at Crescent Valley in Nevada. So we'll see what happens. It's a small program, a lot of work on permits for King Solomon, which, if you look at that last press release about this being a former antimony mine, don't discount that. For Phenom, for federal permitting expedition and funding, same thing with THM. Millions of tons of high-grade stibnite, which is antimony, at Livengood in Alaska. This is the playbook that they had at Perpetua, and it's made people a lot of money. And you know, we're in a very good position. Phenom's got the gold spots with rare metals presence, critical minerals presence, a former stibnite mine at King Solomon, rare earths all over Dobbin. Dobbin is going to be, I think, the big home run gold discovery for us. It's really going to be one of the most coveted gold discoveries in Nevada, if not the world, once we get to drill that bad boy, which may not be until next year, unless we get permit expedition. So in the meantime, King Solomon should be able to be drilled this year. Crescent Valley, we have a lot of things on the go with regard to the technology, the patents on producing from a processing angle, high grade vanadium and nickel very cheaply. This deal I thought would be financed, months back last year, and it didn't quite close, but that situation is by far from dormant or dead. And you look at the stake that we have in MK Plus, there's some really interesting data. I think I'm going to have Paul Colley on in the next couple of weeks to talk about our ownership stake there, which is worth a good chunk of our market cap. And then we have Carlin, the largest near surface, highest grade primary vanadium asset in North America, right there in Nevada. And so that deal still very much, I am extremely bullish. And I think that if you're a Phenom investor or looking for some new ideas, we're coming off of lows And anything you can get in the 30s Canadian, I think is it's proven to you're going to have runs into the high 50s or whatever, where this thing will go up 50, 60, 70%. But the big break comes when this does what International Tower Hill just did, when we get a 52-week high break, and then eventually go through the 82 cent mark Canadian, which we had hit, I believe, a little over a year ago. That's when the thing's going to go and trade to $2 to $5 Canadian. We're not quite there yet, but these things can come in to form quicker than we think. So while things are quiet, I would recommend accumulation in Phenom. Also, next week, I'm going to get into one of my favorite critical mineral and gold and silver exploration plays, Metallis, MTS, and the TSXV, MTLFF, which is on the USOTC. That deal is they're going to be drilling next month at their Greyhound project, 21 miles away from the Stibnite project by Perpetual Resources, by the way, in Idaho. And there's a lot of blue sky there. There are other special situations. If you are here on the free list and you want more interesting ideas, special situations, certainly join our premium where you get a lot more content, a lot more companies that we're involved in. And if you like deal flow, which is what we do in the elite membership, where a lot of us, I vet deals, I negotiate terms with management of companies to get the backing of the elite membership at GIL. And we get better terms by putting our money together. And we do small financings, 500 grand to 2 million, and we get great terms, and our whole mantra there is to sock away cheap long-term warrants. And so we've got a couple of private placements coming up there. There's 3 elite membership slots open, and then we shut that down. So you can check those out if you would like at goldinvestmentletter.com. Just hit the subscribe page. And yeah, if you want to come on board, one of the things that the premium members get is this um, junior mining venture portfolio, which are sub $5 million market cap USD plays that I've vetted, and we've had some massive winners on there. There are some of them that started there, like Metallis, that's gone up. It's way over a $5 million market cap now. We'll continue to cover those, but there are like several on there that are calling my name that I've been buying bigger and bigger and bigger positions in, to the point where many of those companies on the junior venture cap list, they don't make it on there unless I personally own at least 1 to 9% of the company. And you should know, every company I've talked about today, every stock, I'm long. So I have a conflict. If I don't know, you want to call it a conflict, but if buying occurs from what I'm telling you, I can benefit from that. It's just a disclosure. But that's the only way I know how to do things. I'm not going to tell people about ideas I like if I don't have any money in them myself, right? So anyway, I hope everybody had a good week and you have a great weekend. We'll be back to you next week. Cheers.